Professional networking is the key to success, especially if you're a small business person, but it's not necessarily the easiest thing to do. In fact, you can waste a lot of time on the networking circuit if you don't know how to do it right. Thanks for joining me on WOWBIZ TV. My name is Lynn Hinderaker, and I'm here with BC Clark. Now, BC is the Executive Director of the Metro Omaha Women's Business Center. Did I say it correctly?
You did.
All right.
You did.
And she does a fabulous job organizing a network group in the Omaha, Nebraska area. So we've talked to her right now. BC, thanks for joining me. And tell me, what's the big deal about networking? Why is it proliferating, and why is it such a big thing these days?
Well, number one, it does save money and time. And if you're a small business owner, you want to make the biggest impact in the shortest amount of time and the least amount of money.
Yeah,
right?
I think you got to the bottom line there, didn't you? Absolutely. Well, you know, even though a lot of people seem to be doing it, it seems like there's a lot of wasted time and effort, and it doesn't necessarily lead to anything. What are the problems? What do people do wrong when they're out there joining all these groups and going to all these time-consuming meetings?
I think the one thing is that they're not sure what to do. So the one thing is to find out how to do it effectively. So the first thing I would say is you want to plan your event. You know, what am I going to? What do I expect to take away from this? So have a plan.
All right. So have a plan, and also kind of know whether you're going to a professional trade group where everybody's similar, or it's a broad general mix of business people. Right.
Correct.
Okay.
That's right.
Now, what should we do when we get there? I mean, should I prepare in advance? I mean, you know, do I go visit and hang out? Do I go sit down? Just tell me how to act when I enter a networking meeting. What are the basics?
The number one thing is that, do you want to go in awkwardly? No, you want to go in because what? This is a time that you want to show people who you are.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So if you don't know someone, you walk up to them because that's a networking event. Correct?
Right.
So what do you want to do? You want to find out as much as you can about that other person.
Now you did a paradigm shift on me, and I love this because a lot of people go in there and say, I'm going to practice my little thing, my speech, I'm going to talk about myself. Right. And I love what you're saying here, because what you're really saying is focus on the other person.
Focus on the other person. Yeah. That's correct. Because number one, what do people want to hear? They want to hear as much as they can about themselves. So when you're asking questions, you're looking pretty good to them.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah, that's the first way to begin, with emotional rapport.
That's correct.
And all of us, they like you because you're interested in them.
Yeah.
All right. And then is the best time to like hang around before or after the group, or talk to people you know, or talk to strangers? How do I handle myself there?
Well, you know, of course you're going to see people you know. But you know, in those events, when I'm trying to meet someone else, I'm going to wave or just say something, and then I'm going to move on, because it's the other person I really want to know. Right?
Yeah.
And they understand that, because if you're out there and effectively networking, you know the drill.
You know, BC, I think another thing is to go to people that you do know and then briefly ask them about other people in the room.
Right.
Do you know this person or that person? Maybe you could introduce me.
Yeah, and that's a lot of things. That's a lot of times I'll do that as well, especially if it's someone that I really don't know. You know, I always call it a hard, like a hard knock. So I'll say, well, who is that person? What are they about? And then that's how I would get.
You know, a lot of introverts, I know you're not an introvert, but some introverts don't know what to talk about. They don't know what to say when they're in these organizations. One thing I was thinking about is focus on the presenters or the speeches or the content of the program and use that. What have you ever done that?
I have. And the number one thing, too, is that especially in an event like this, the one thing you'll say, hey, wasn't he great? And if you do that, people are going to say, yeah, I thought he was awesome. And all of a sudden, that will start a rapport with that particular person.
Right.
And you can do that continuously throughout that event.
Right. Now, when the thing wraps up, I mean, what do? You come over and you say, nice to meet you, or do you send them an email, or you make a call? I mean, what's the way to follow up? And you're not really sure exactly what could come out of the relationship.
You know, I think that the number one thing is not to expect a whole lot out of the relationship, but you do want to follow up. Why? Because you want them to remember you. You don't know who they know. Whether they're relevant to you or not, there is someone that they know that may be relevant for what you're needing.
So tap into their network. Right. That's very interesting. You know, the thing is, a lot of small business people are strapped for time. They want sales. And when they join a networking group, that's what's in their head. Their attitude is, I'm going to go there and I want to make a sale, I want to make some money. How do you calm them down and teach them the basics of relationship building as we wrap up here?
You know, the one thing is that you want to find out, you want to teach, and the selling will happen.
Because those who teach sell.
That's right.
That's right. You know, I'm sitting here with BC Clark with the Metro Omaha Women's Business Center. She is an expert in the networking experience. She knows how to build relationships and convert them into revenue. Thanks for joining me on WOWBIZ. My name's Lynn Hinderaker.